Unfortunately, I did not like Bugs in Love as much as I thought I was going to be because the sound effects in this are really quite sharp and painful. And I wasn't listening to this with headphones, I was using my very basic laptop speakers. And I just found the noise to be so penetrating that it kind of overshadowed the animation, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. This was released in 1932, directed by Burt Gillett, of course, one of these silly Symphony cartoons, which usually I absolutely love them. This one, the animation was pretty. I quite liked it, and very well done, but the sound effects were just a little bit too much. So this one we have all of these different creatures, critters, bugs, and insects interacting with discarded items that humans have have thrown away, and we see them going about their merry way, dancing and interacting with each other, and they're in love, and everything's all beautiful, and they're having a lovely time. But then this giant bird comes along. I believe it's a crow, and it certainly looks like a crow. And of course, this means that they are in danger. Will they be able to escape this giant bird, or will they be eaten? I won't say what happens. I will say the noise that this bird makes is so painful. It's sharp and screeching, and for some reason, it seems to be just slightly louder than everything else. Now, maybe the sound's been modified over the years. I watched it on YouTube, but I highly doubt that. At least not modified for the crow compared to the rest of the music in it. The noise of the crow was just a little bit too overbearing and a little bit too sharp, and I found it to be really unpleasant. And if it had been maybe a little bit quieter and not quite as overbearing compared to the rest of the sound, the rest of the music, or the other sound effects, it wouldn't have been so bad. But I think the balance there was a little bit off. The music itself is quite pleasant. The action that we see unfolding on screen is well animated. It's quite sweet. I like the idea of these bugs interacting with human objects, everyday objects that humans discard. It's a fun concept. Unfortunately, I just didn't think the execution was quite as brilliant as it could have been. There are a lot of silly symphonies that are quite similar and they work really well. And the animation was fine, but I just found that some of the sound effects, not just that, there was a sound effect, I believe it was when they were ice skating. I can't remember exactly, but towards the beginning of it, there was a particular sound effect that was really jarring and felt out of sync with everything else. So I'm not sure exactly when that was because I didn't mentally take note of it because I assumed it would be an anomaly. But as I learned and as the narrative continued, I realised that there were other sound effects that were going to pull me out of the action and make me realise that I was listening to something unpleasant, which is unfortunate because it's well animated and a nice concept. It's definitely not my favourite silly symphony, to say the very least. The animation itself was quite sweet. Give it a watch if you're a fan of Disney or Silly Symphony, but my best advice would be to make sure you're not wearing headphones.